The very important 13th chapter of the Gita. One thing you will note all through this great book, the amount of philosophy and high thought that is mixed with teaching of spiritual life is unique. It is food for heart and brain. And in this chapter, you have a good deal of that intellectual element, things worth thinking about, understanding spiritual life. This is a very rare phenomenon in religion. Any religion you take and study their textbooks, there will be not even a fraction of the philosophy and high thought that you get in the Gita. This chapter is especially significant from that point of view. The opening verse is usually taken by Krishna's utterance. But in some editions, there is a question by Arjuna taken at the first verse. But Shankara and other commentators and Lokmanya Tilak, they consider this one verse through the mouth of Arjuna as an interpolation. If Shankara thinks it was not originally there, then it is difficult for us to accept that it is genuine. But in this book, that first verse also is given. Arjuna Uvacha. It doesn't add anything new, it's only putting a question, so that Krishna's words become answers. Prakritim Purusham Cheva Kshetram Kshetratnyamevacha Etat Vedidamichhami Jnanam Jnayam Cha Keshava. Arjuna says to Krishna, I want to know, O Krishna, about these truths. What are they? Prakriti and Purusha. Primordial nature and the primordial intelligence. These two are behind the universe. I want to know about them, Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha, we are all Purushas, intelligent beings. The whole world is Prakriti, non-intelligent matter. So that is Prakriti, that is Purusha. Kshetram, Kshetratnyamevacha. Also, distinction between Kshetra and Kshetratnya. Kshetra means a field. Kheti is a field. In that field, you sow and you reap. So the body is called the Kshetra. And the one who knows the body, the principle of intelligence within, that is Kshetratnya. Jna means knowing, the knower of Kshetra. Kshetra doesn't know itself. Something knows the Kshetra. That's called Kshetratnya. Etat Vedidam Ichhami. I desire to know these truths. Jnanam, Jnayam cha Keshava. Also, nature of Jnana, nature of Jnaya. Jnana means knowledge. Jnaya means the object of knowledge, what you are knowing. Jnana, Jnaya. So there are three things: the knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. Jnana, Jnaya, Jnata. The knower is called Jnata in Sanskrit. And this is called Triputi. They always go together. I know something. So I, the act of knowing, and that something. So these are the three. This is called Triputi. The solution of this Triputi into supreme unity of knowledge is Vedanta's great work. There is only knowledge. There is not a knower, there is not an object of knowledge. Knowledge alone is the truth of things. Consciousness, experience, knowledge, that alone exists. These are only different forms of that one infinite knowledge. So God is called pure knowledge, pure consciousness. That is God, according to Vedanta. So Krishna answers, Bhagavan Uvacha. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya bhitiyate etat yo veti tam prahu kshetratna iti tadvidaha. Hey Arjuna, this body, idam means pointing it out. This body, idam shariram kaunteya, is known as kshetra. Kshetramitya bhitiyate. His name is Kshetra. Then the one who knows the Kshetra, he is called the Kshetratnya, according to the great philosophers who know the subject. Iti tadvidaha. Those who know the subject, they say, this is Kshetra, this is Kshetratnya. The knower of the Kshetra. Jna is standing for knower. Kshetratnya. And so, these two are the factors. In the 7th chapter, Krishna had already declared his own divine nature consisting of two aspects. One is the physical aspect, the other is the spiritual aspect. All this earth and air, water, all this, what you call nature's elements, they belong to one category, including ego in man. They are my inferior nature, apareyam. Higher than this, no, my higher nature. What is that? Yedam dharyate jagat. That principle of intelligence that sustains the whole universe. That is my higher nature. So between these two, I am the author of the whole universe. Through these two natures, so that nothing outside God is there in the universe. Everything is its own form. There is an external form, in the name of Prakriti, its various evolutions. Here, pure intelligence, one and non-dual, in all of us. That will be said in the next verse. So in the beginning he said, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya bhitiyate edat yogeti tam prahu kshetratnya iti tadvidaha. He who knows this kshetra is known as the kshetratnya. Our normal understanding is every kshetra has a separate kshetratnya, a separate self knowing it. That is being corrected in the next verse. All these kshetras, there is only one single kshetratnya. I am that supreme kshetratnya. In all the kshetras, Krishna will say in this, kshetratnyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Arjuna, in all these kshetras, know me to be the one single kshetratnya. one single principle of intelligence, consciousness or knowledge. Then he sums up the teaching by saying, Kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. What is true knowledge? Knowledge of kshetra and knowledge of kshetrajna together constitute the totality of all knowledge. One alone won't do. Kshetrajna alone won't do. Kshetra also must be known. So, kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. According to me, that is jnana, which includes a knowledge of the kshetra and the knowledge of the kshetrajna. Whatever sciences can tell us about the external world, all that is knowledge of kshetra. We have to take those into consideration. Then there is the knower, consciousness, the observer. That also we have to take into account. A full picture of reality will include both. Till now, physical science considered only one aspect of reality, the object. The world observed by the senses and studied by the mind of the scientist. That's all it says. Even if there is any observer, they will convert it into the form of the kshetra itself. Kshetra in one form is a kshetrajna, they will say, materialistic theory. But that is slowly changing. They are finding it impossible to convert consciousness into a piece of matter, consciousness to derive from some material powers. They are finding it impossible day by day. When they come to a mature conclusion, it will be what you find in this Gita. Ere kshetra, ere kshetrajna. And this kshetrajna, when you investigate, they look all so many kshetrajnas. No, there is only one kshetrajna, but he manifests through so many kshetras. That knowledge will come. This diversity is an appearance. There is only one pure consciousness in the whole world that fills the universe. That is in you, in me, in all. In that way, the unity of consciousness has been proclaimed. There is only one pure self in all beings. That is what Vedanta wants to establish through real discussion, logic, reason and experience. Atma ekatva vidya pratipattaye sarve Vedanta arabhyante. All the Upanishads have only this object in view. Only one Atma in all beings. Atma ekatva vidya, the science of the unity of the self. Self as experience, absolute unity. There is no plurality in consciousness. That is what is quoted from Schrödinger, our nuclear scientist. Consciousness is never experienced in the plural, only in the singular. If you find different consciousness, it is because they are cut up in various bits through various organic systems. But consciousness is always a singular, of which the plural is inconceivable. That is Schrödinger's remark. So when they study the subjects of knowledge, subject of consciousness, subject of kshetrajna, they finally will reach that Advaitic state, one infinite Brahman or infinite Atman, one and non-dual, ekameva advitiyam Brahma. Brahma is one and never two. So Krishna here, that kshetrajna that you find in all these various kshetras, no, all of them are myself. One infinite self.
in all beings. So, Edad yogeti tam prahu kshetreti tadvidaha. Having found the Kshetrajna, I know my body, I know what is going on here, therefore a subject called I, subject of knowledge. And when I investigate about him, I find it is the same self in all beings. There's only one manifesting through millions of forms, that's all. So that is what is referred to in this verse 2. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvatra kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam tat jnanam matam mama yat tat jnanam matam mama. Though in this book that Arjuna's question has been put in numbering, just not be included the number. In Krishna's answer is put as number 1 verse. It is just put there because Shankaracharya has not taken that verse as originally in the Gita. Later on some people thrust it into it. So he has put it here, this author, Swami Sarupananda. But numbering is starting from idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhithiyate edad yogeti tam prahu kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. That is number 1 verse, and the other is number 2. I said, kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Know me to be the kshetrajna in all the kshetras. It is there we are all one. We have different bodies, but we are one supreme self. It is like a thread running through all of us as in a garland. That is the unity of man, unity of all existence through the self. Kshetra kshetratyayor jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. The scope of knowledge is kshetra and kshetrajna. Not one alone, but both. That is the meaning of knowledge. No knowledge is complete unless we know kshetrajna as well as the kshetra. Today's scientific knowledge is incomplete. It knows only the kshetra, and it considers kshetrajna as a transformation of kshetra. Just chemistry and physics transformed into the brain and the thinking power, etc., etc. It cannot stand. It is being questioned. Therefore, this kshetrajna is a fact. The knower, the observer. A scientist studies the world. Scientist doesn't want to take himself into consideration. Only the world I shall take into consideration. He abstracts himself. That's how science has begun. And the result is, towards the end of it, end of the 19th century, they have discovered many things about this world, and they themselves became too small, only a product of the external matter. That's all what a scientist is. Scientist as observer, as the knower, as the self. That scientist lost all actuality. That is what is being corrected now. The observer is a tremendous datum. You cannot reduce it to mere part of the observed data. Observer has a status all by itself. You must understand who is the observer. You cannot deny that datum anymore. So, kshetrajna, we are going to, from the knowledge of the kshetra, we are asking this question. Who is this person, knows all this? The scientist knows the world. Who is the scientist? What is it that knows? There is a kshetrajna there. That's how Gita is putting it. There must be an observer. Everything is not mere observed data. So what is the nature of the observer? Krishna has said, knowledge, pure consciousness, intelligence, chetana. That is the nature of the observer. In no observed data you will find this principle of knowledge. Shankara argues many places, the Upanishads and the Gita, if the eye is intelligent by itself, then I should know the ear, I should know the nose, I should know other sense organs there. But its intelligence doesn't derive from itself, it comes from a deeper source. It's only a medium through which it functions. So also other sense organs. All these sense organs are inert. They become alive only because of some power within, slowly pushing them to action. That is the main principle of intelligence. That is, we should never forget, the Chit Shakti that is there in me and in you. And this Chit Shakti is only one in all beings, cut up into bits. Apparently, he will say later on, the word apparently. Apparently many, really one. That language will come again and again. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. That is real jnana, knowledge, totality of knowledge of reality, which includes knowledge of kshetra, knowledge of kshetrajna. That is pure philosophy. The manifested universe as well as that primordial reality from which the universe came. These two must be taken into account to understand the nature of reality. Sri Ramakrishna tells us, if you take a vilva fruit, that fruit is eaten by people in North India, very beautiful sharbat is made. Vilva fruit, its pulp. Now you take the pulp and make sharbat and drink. That's all right so far as your drinking is concerned. But to know the nature of the vilva fruit, you have to take not only the pulp, but also the seed, also the outer cover. All they must be taken into account to understand what is the vilva fruit, not merely the pulp that is there. Similarly, you can enjoy God in a particular spiritual way, but what about the world around you? That is also part of the divine expression. You cannot negate it. In that way, when you speak of reality as a whole, this world comes into the picture. I see it, I experience it. It is a manifestation of that same one divine. If the soul is manifestation of the divine, the world also is manifestation of the divine according to Vedanta. There is only one behind the whole universe, conscious or unconscious, chit or achit, he says. Tat kshetram yatcha yadritcha yadvikari yatascha yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. Listen to me when I explain to you that kshetra. Yes. What is that kshetra? What are its properties? What are its modifications? What effects arise from what causes? And also who he is and what his powers are. Who is this knower and what his powers are? Hear from me in brief, samasena tat shrunu. When you deal with the whole concept of evolution from the stellar cosmic level to the organic level, coming to human level, you study the whole thing, you can see all that is kshetra, the world of object, the observed universe. That's called kshetra. Rishibhir bahutha gitam chandobhir vividhai prathak brahmasutra padaischeva hedumadbhir vinishchitaihi. He says, this subject has been expounded and variously by sages in Vedic utterances and in the Brahma Sutra of Badarayana. Rishibhir Bahuda Gitam. Rishis have sung about it in various ways. Bahuda Gitam. Chandobhir Vividhai Prathak. So also Chandas. Chandas merely means the language used in the Vedas is Chandas. Chandasam. So Vedic utterances. Brahma Sutra Pada. Words used in Brahma Sutra to organize the thought of the Upanishads. Badarayana developed Brahma Sutra. All the beautiful utterances which are scattered, which are not coordinated in the Upanishads, they are brought into organized form in the Brahma Sutra, on which Shankara and others have written commentaries. Brahma Sutra, Upanishads, Gita. These three are called Prasthanatraya, three important foundation books of Vedanta. Prasthanatraya, it's a very important word. Upanishad, Gita, Brahma Sutra. So these three expound Vedanta in an organized way as a philosophy. Sachayoyat Prabhavascha, you say, not only where from they come, but what are the powers of these various aspects of the Kshetra. Tat samasena me shruno. Listen to me when I explain it briefly. Rishibhir Bhavata Gitam. Chandobhir Vividhai Prathak. Brahmasutra Padaishcheva. Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitai. With great reason, with an argument. Hetu means rational presentation. The Brahmasutra has done it. So this is how it has been expounded. It has been sung in various ways. Now he is giving a classification. Mahabhutanya ahankaro buddhiravyaktam cha indriyani prishayagam cha panchacha indriya gocharaha ichchadvesha sukham dukkham sanghadas chetana tritihi edat kshetram samasena savikaram udahritam. This is kshetra, which I have explained to you now in brief. What is it? What does kshetra consist of? Mahabhutani, the five primordial elements, nuclear dimension of matter. It's called the primordial elements. There are 24 categories according to the Sankhya to deal with the universe. And the 25th category is the Purusha, of the nature of pure consciousness. In the 24 categories, there is no intelligence. There is Ajit. There are Prakriti's evolutions in various forms. Evolution, cosmic evolution, is a very ancient teaching in India by the Sankhyas. In the West, it is only the 19th century. Even now, it has not taken root. Fundamentalist Christians in America are resisting modern evolutionary theory being taught in schools. If you teach that, you must teach also the Bible story of creation, that God created the world in 7 days, in 6 days. He said, let there be light, light came, like that one by one. So a big fight is going on in America just now, because the fundamentalist theological ideas of the past collide with the scientific rational ideas of time. But that doesn't happen in India. When you speak of evolution, it is according to our own thought. Imagine what a tremendous change it makes. This country is well based on scientific thinking about the universe around as well as things close by. So, we have always upheld that this universe is a product of an evolution from an undifferentiated state to a differentiated state. And that differentiated state can go down and down up to a clump of grass. From the starry heavens up to a clump of grass, every one of them has come as part of that cosmic evolutionary process. So, Mahabhutani, 5 Mahabhutas, that means very nuclear dimension of matter, Mahabhutani, like fire, water, earth. These are the physical way we explain them. What they really constitute in the primordial form is called Mahabhutani, Mahabhutas. Then Ahankaro, the I. In the cosmic evolution, you do not see I, but when you go to organic evolution, you find this I coming in. We have placed it much earlier in the process of evolution. Ahankaro, buddhi, intelligence, reason, avyaktamevacha, the undifferentiated aspect of nature. That's called avyakta. Vyakta, avyakta. Vyakta means differentiated, avyakta, undifferentiated. Indriyani, dashaikamcha, the 10 sense organs plus 1 in the mind. 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception, like eye, ear, nose, etc. They are organs of experience or perception. And hand, feet, etc. organs of action. This is called Disha Indriyas, 10 Indriyas. And Ekam plus Manas. Manas also another type of Indriya, a little more evolved, but it's still treated as an Indriya only. Ekam cha, Panchacha Indriya Gocharaha. There are 5 objects for the senses to experience. All those 5, the world has 5-fold which you can experience. 5 objects of the senses. That element must be understood. For example, eye sees only form. Ear hears only sound. Tongue only taste. Skin, touch. All these various senses, they have got particular object in view to experience. One doesn't experience another one. The eye cannot hear. The ear cannot see. So each one has an aspect of the world around to experience. They are called what he calls here, Indriya Gocharaha. Gochara means perception. What can be perceived by the senses, called Indriya Gocharaha. Ichcha, desire. Dvesha, anger. Sukham, dukkham, happiness, misery. Sanghatas, the combination of various parts that makes a sanghata. That's called always. Various parts put together, you make something that's called sanghata, a combination. Chetana, intelligence. Dhritihi, great courage or willpower. Etat kshetram, these all are kshetra. Samasena, savikaram, udahritam. I will illustrate it, kshetra, in a very brief way, along with their modifications. Savikaram, udahritam. So the whole objective universe is kshetra, in which we include mind, body, sensory system, everything. The only one thing beyond all this, that is pure intelligence, pure consciousness, that lights up the whole universe. About that he will say later. Yada kshetram samasena savikaram udavratam. Now the subject of jnana comes. What is jnana? Knowledge. Knowledge is expounded here through the means of knowledge. How do you get true knowledge? Certain means are there. Certain moral qualities and virtues are there. That is mentioned here, beginning with amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam, acharya-upasanam, shaujam, stairyam, atma-vigraha. The first sloka says, 1. Amanitvam, humility. That mana, that kind of egoistic attitude is not there. That a little humble attitude. That alone can give knowledge, not the other way. Amanitvam, adambhitvam. Similarly, pretension, absence of pretentiousness, dambha, adambhitvam, the opposite. Similarly, non-injury, ahimsa, very important as a means to knowledge, higher knowledge. Kshanti, forbearance. Arjavam, uprightness. Acharya-upasanam, service of the teacher. Teacher has knowledge, I want knowledge, I serve him and get knowledge from him. So Acharya-upasanam is an essential part of education. In ancient times, when knowledge was highly prized. Today knowledge is prized only for jobs, so we don't respect the giver of knowledge, and even the knowledge itself we don't respect. And the teacher also doesn't respect himself as the possessor of knowledge. That is the low condition to which knowledge seeking, knowledge transmitting has come in this modern period. Everything commercialized, nothing high, nothing of value. Acharya-upasanam, shaujam, purity, physical, mental purity. Stairyam, steadiness. Atma-vinigraha, self-control, self-discipline. Every energy in my system is under my discipline, my control. They will not do anything without my sanction. That kind of perfect self-discipline, Atma-vinigraha. Indriyartheshu vairagyam, anahankara evacha, janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. Other virtues come in. Indriyartheshu vairagya. When we want higher knowledge, we have to detach ourselves from sensory objects. They draw us all the time. Therefore, higher knowledge cannot come. So, it is passion towards sensory objects is what is called indriyartheshu vairagyam. Similarly, anahankara evacha, the ahankara, egoism is not there. That is very important virtue cultivated through knowledge. Higher knowledge cannot come. The ego is fat. That is very important. Anahankara evacha. Then, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha dosha, anudarshanam. You must constantly see the evil or the source of sorrow which these are. Ave, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Birth, death, old age, and sickness. These are all productive of sorrow. You must always have a detached attitude towards them, seeing evil in them. Dosha anudarshanam. Anudarshan means constantly. You understand the truth of these things. So they are only temporary. Some years they are there, then they are gone. But within that time, I shall put them to good use to get higher knowledge, to the knowledge of Kshetrajna. That is what is needed. The body is only an instrument for that purpose. Janma mrityu, jara vyadhi, dukkha dosha, anudarshanam. Then comes asakti ranabhishranga, putrabhara grihadishu, nityamcha samachittatvam, stanishtopapatyashu. A spirit of detachment with respect to family, husband, wife, children, house, etc. I live there, but I am not part of it. I am not a prisoner there. That attitude, asakti, anavishunga, unattachment. In putra dara grihadishu. Putra means children, dara means husband or wife, griha means home. All this, that there should not be too much blind attachment. Love will be there, attachment will not be there. Nityam cha samachittatvam. Constantly practice even-mindedness, samachittatvam. The mind has a tendency to go in choppy way, like a choppy ocean. That is its nature. But I can make it go little more calm and quiet. That's my training of the mind. So, nityam cha samachittatvam, samachitta, even-mindedness, constantly we practice. When desirable things occur, undesirable things occur. Mind has a tendency to become choppy. That is its nature. But I am here to control it, change it. My nature will be able to control that nature. Man must take responsibility for that. We have the power. We may not be at the beck and call of every impulse that comes from outside. An impulse comes, throws me into out of balance. What a poor creature I am. I can regulate it. This kind of affirmation and practice following that affirmation. This is how we develop higher knowledge. We just say, whatever the senses report, we say, okay, be okay. That way no knowledge can come. So, nityam cha samachittatvam, ishtanishto upapattishu. This kind of even-mindedness in the occurrence of ishta and anishta. Sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. These things come. Let not the mind be thrown off the balance. Keep it as even-minded as possible. Begin with a little effort. In the beginning it will be very little, but it will grow, it will grow, it will grow. All mind can be trained. Then, Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktira Vivicharini. Tremendous devotion towards me, one-pointed devotion, Abhivicharini, without any mix-up of things, pure devotion to me must be practiced. Bhakti Abhivicharini, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, the habit of trying to be alone, places where you are alone, not in a crowd. Normally we are in the crowd. In society we are in the crowd. But a little betrayal is essential for cultivating higher knowledge. Ramakrishna used to say, every householder should go out once a while and live alone. Alone is the word used. And in today's thinking, the American Handbook of Psychiatry, thick book, which I saw in Washington, it is written there, if creativity is to be cultivated in our children in America, our children must be given the opportunity to be alone, not always in the crowd. No creativity can come in a crowd, only when you are alone. And not too much talking, calmness. What you call speak very little, then only the creative mind can find expression. Now these are found in modern books like American Handbook of Psychiatry. In all spiritual teaching, these are all included, so that creativity and higher development of man, these things are essential should not become stagnant at a particular level. So Nityam Cha says, Maija Ananya Yogena Bhakti Adhivicharini, undeviating bhakti towards me with that one-pointed devotion. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, so seeking a quiet place. Vivikta means alone. Desha, place. Sevitvam, desire to be alone. What a beautiful conception. Desire to be alone. Even in education, a man like Bertrand Russell says, children must be made to sit alone, live alone for some time. Out of that only creativity can come.
But we do need also silence and aloneness. Both these must be given to children. This is very important point. Just a few weeks ago, I got a huge proceedings of a seminar in the Pant Agricultural University in UP on creativity and education. Very distinguished writers have contributed. I read through most of it, and later on it will be put in the library, in the reading room. So this kind of thinking is going on. How to make our children creative and not humdrum, like the dull, humdrum people. That's not enough. There is creativity in all, only we don't know how to stimulate it. We know how to suppress it. We don't know how to stimulate it. So very beautiful ideas are given, and I am particularly happy that for the first time a very big effort was made to hold a seminar on this subject, creativity. Our people are generally creative, but modern education has mechanized our mind. That creativity is going away. And so that book I found very, very interesting from that point of view. I replied to the sender, Professor Malavya, Dean of the faculty there, a copy of my book, Divine Grace, in which I have quoted this American psychiatrist, the Handbook of American Psychiatry, where a whole section is creativity and how to foster it. I got it xeroxed in Washington. It is with me in my library. So out of that I have quoted in the Divine Grace some very important passages, how to develop creativity, what a wonderful quality it is. So I have sent a letter along with that booklet to that dean of the faculty. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Aradir Janasamsadi. A little unhappiness when you are in the crowd. I want to be away, I want to be alone, that attitude. Not hatred of man, but too much of rubbing shoulders will rub nerves, as one American said. Too much of rubbing shoulders will rub nerves. So a little apart is good for some time. That way. Arati means hatred. Janasamsadi means the collection of people. Hatred, to be in the midst of too many people. Along with that, love for aloneness. Both these are combined together. There is no question of hatred of man here. There is a time when I can be with people. There is a time when I can be myself. Even little children like to be left alone. If mother and father constantly handle them, they say, no, go now, I want to be alone. Yes, very good. Always encourage. Let them be alone. Be alone, be alone. That is how the mind is trained. New dimensions open up, etc. So, Parents must know this, teachers must know this, then slowly we can inspire our children with these methods by which creativity can be sustained and developed. Then, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam Etat Jnanamiti Proktam Atjnanam Yadato Anyatha. This is called Jnana. Two more items are mentioned here. What are they? Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Constant pursuit of spiritual knowledge. Knowledge of the Atman. What is my true nature? What is behind his mind? What is a wonderful inquiry it is. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Constantly we are inquiring. All creativity comes from there. The closer we are to the Atman, the more creative we are. And so, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Similarly, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. The Tattva Jnana, knowledge of truth, that we pursue. Knowledge of real truth. Tattva means the truth of a thing is called Tattva. The other is called opinion, Mata. Mata is what you and I like a thing to be. But apart from liking or disliking, what the thing itself is called Tattva. Tattva is the truth of a thing. Tattva Jnana. Philosophy deals with Tattva Jnana, knowledge of reality. That pursuit, Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. All this is known as Jnana. Edat Jnanamiti Proktam. All this is known as Jnana. Why? These are the things that will lead you to Jnana. Jnana is not easy to get. You have to prepare the mind for it. So, these are the methods by which, virtues and graces by which we acquire knowledge of the pure self. Etat Jnanamiti Proktam. And what is not this is called Ajnana. The opposite of all this is Ajnana. When you cultivate the opposite of all this, you go deeper and deeper into Ajnana. This is how, in this section, Krishna has described Jnana, Kshetra, Kshetratnya, Jnana. Then will come Jnaya. What is to be known? What is the object to be known? This knowledge is going out for what? To know some profound truth. What is that truth? It's called Jnaya. That he will deal with later on. We shall take up the rest of the subject next time. When we meet here, next time when I say, it means 22nd. 15th I will be in Calcutta.